chosen one. Have you ever walked into a room and felt every eye land on you before a single word was spoken? Have you ever smiled at someone, just a simple, genuine smile, and watched their face freeze like they'd seen a ghost? Or have you ever wondered why certain people act uncomfortable around you for no reason at all? Like your very presence disrupts something they can't name. Listen to me carefully, beloved. What I'm about to tell you isn't paranoia. It's not your imagination playing tricks on your tired mind. It's something far more ancient, far more powerful, and far more deliberate than you've ever been told. Picture this. You're standing in line at the grocery store, maybe waiting at the doctor's office, or lingering in that church lobby after service. You're minding your own business, checking your phone, adjusting your coat, just existing. But you feel it. That prickle on the back of your neck. Someone's watching, not the casual glance kind, the studying kind, the measuring kind. So you look up, and there they are, caught. Their eyes lock with yours for half a heartbeat, and something shifts in the air between you. They didn't expect you to notice. They thought you were oblivious, distracted, spiritually asleep. But then, you smile. Not the polite, empty kind of smile we paste on for strangers, no. A real one. The kind that comes from 70, 80 years of trusting God through hell and high water. The kind that carries light without even trying. The kind that says, I see you, and I'm not afraid. And that's when everything changes. Their face goes blank. Their energy shifts. Some look shocked, some look moved, some look rattled. Like your smile just tripped an alarm they forgot was there. Because in that single moment, chosen one, you weren't supposed to notice them watching. But the moment you smiled, something in the spirit world triggered a protocol. You've felt this before, haven't you? You walk into family gatherings and the room goes quiet. You show up at church and people suddenly remember they have somewhere else to be. You've been called too much, too intense, or told you have that look, whatever that means. You're not imagining it. You're not losing your mind. There's a reason. Before we go deeper, I want to pause and say this from my heart. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and let the Holy Spirit lead. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. Your smile isn't harmless. Your peace isn't passive. Your faith-filled presence isn't background noise. Every time you show up carrying the light of Christ, especially at your age, after everything you've survived, you're broadcasting a kingdom signal, a frequency, a passcode that activates protocols in the unseen realm. The enemy knows it, the angels respond to it, and certain people feel it without understanding why. If this is already hitting your spirit, don't scroll past this moment. Stay with me to the very end, because by the time we're done, you'll never look at your own smile the same way again. Right now, type these words: Lord, activate your protocol in my life. Let heaven hear your agreement. Because in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what protocol your smile triggered, and why the enemy hates that you still have it. Did you know that right now, in this very moment, you are the most watched person in your own story? Have you ever stopped to consider that your life isn't playing out in privacy, but on a stage with audiences in 3 different realms? And here's the question that should shake you awake. What if the very thing you thought made you invisible, your age, your quiet life, your simple routine, is actually what made you impossible to ignore? Let me tell you something that's going to rearrange how you see your entire existence. You are not walking through life unnoticed. You never have been. Every breath you take, every choice you make, every smile you give registers on monitors in realms you can't see with natural eyes. And I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory or paranoid fantasy. I'm talking about biblical reality that's been hiding in plain sight your whole life. There are 3 distinct audiences watching you right now. And once you understand who they are and why they're watching, you'll never move through your day the same way again. First, heaven is watching. And I don't mean God is spying on you, waiting to catch you slipping. Hebrews 10:21 says you are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. Think about that. Witnesses, plural, a cloud of them. Your grandmother who prayed for you before you were born. Watching. That uncle who died believing God would do something special with your life. Watching. Saints who walked this earth in faith, now standing in glory, watching. They're not bored angels checking a cosmic security feed. They're your cheering section. Your spiritual family leaning over the balcony of eternity, watching you finish what they started. Psalm 33:4 declares, "The Lord looks from heaven. He sees all the sons of men. From the place of his dwelling he looks on all the inhabitants of the earth." God isn't looking at you with disappointment. He's watching with the intensity of a father who knows exactly what he placed inside you. He sees you at the grocery store. He sees you in that doctor's waiting room. He sees you when your own family forgets to call. And every time you choose faith over fear, every time you smile through pain, every time you worship in the wilderness, heaven erupts in celebration because you just proved that his investment in you was worth it. But heaven isn't the only audience. Hell is watching too. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, but you need to hear this. The enemy isn't just some distant force vaguely opposed to goodness. He's strategic. He's calculated. He studies you like a predator studies prey. Remember Job. The Bible shows us Satan giving God a detailed report on Job's life. Job 1:10 records Satan saying he'd been going to and fro on the earth and walking back and forth on it. That's surveillance language. That's observation language. He was taking notes. 1 Peter 5:18 warns us, "Your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." Notice it doesn't say he devours everyone. It says he's seeking, searching, looking for patterns, for weaknesses, for moments when your guard drops. He tracks your reactions. He monitors your hope levels. He watches how you handle rejection, how you process disappointment, how you respond when life doesn't make sense. And here's what terrifies him. You're still smiling. After everything you've been through, 70, 80, 90 years of battles, you still carry light. That smile of yours, that's not ignorance. That's warfare, and he knows it. But there's a third audience that might surprise you. People are watching. Your neighbors, your family, your coworkers. The cashier at the store who sees you every week. They're studying your faith, especially now. Because when you're young, faith looks like optimism. But when you're older, when you've buried friends, when your body hurts, when the world has moved on without asking your permission, and you still believe, that's when faith becomes undeniable. They're watching how you handle pain. They're watching how you handle being overlooked. They're watching whether your faith survives when prayers go unanswered and loved ones let you down. You think they're not paying attention, but they are. They're waiting to see if your God is real when life gets real. And every time you show up with joy that defies your circumstances, every time you speak blessing over people who curse you, every time you smile when you have every earthly reason to give up, you're preaching a sermon louder than any pulpit could hold. Let me give you a picture that makes this crystal clear. Imagine you're walking through an airport terminal. You think you're just another passenger, blending into the crowd, moving from point A to point B. But what you don't see is that you're on every camera. Security is tracking your movements. Systems are scanning you. Intelligence networks are monitoring patterns. You set off invisible alarms not because you did anything wrong, but because you carry something that triggers protocols. That's your spiritual reality right now. You think you're just living a quiet life in Queens or Brooklyn or the Bronx. You think you're just another senior citizen the world forgot about. But spiritually, your life has shown up on heaven's screen. Hell's network is tracking you. And people around you are watching to see if this Jesus you talk about is real when the lights go out and nobody's clapping. You're not just another passenger, beloved. You set off alarms in two kingdoms. And that smile of yours, that simple expression of faith that survives everything, just triggered something the enemy never wanted activated. So here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. Your life is not private. Your faith is not invisible. Your struggles are not meaningless. Every moment you choose to believe when circumstances scream otherwise, you're being documented in 3 realms. Heaven's recording it for your reward. Hell's studying it to find your weakness. And people are watching it to decide if they'll ever take God seriously. But here's the question that changes everything. If that many eyes are on you, what kind of power must be flowing through that smile they can't stop thinking about? In just a moment, I'm going to show you why one simple, quiet smile from someone who's walked with God for decades has more spiritual voltage than some people's loudest sermons. Because what you're carrying isn't just happiness. It's a weapon wrapped in grace, and it's time you knew how to use it. You remember Mrs. Henderson from the church chore, don't you? Or maybe it was your grandmother. That woman who could walk into a room full of hurting people and somehow, with just a smile, make the air feel breathable again. You've seen it. You felt it. Maybe you've even been that person. I'm talking about that smile that doesn't come from having an easy life. I'm talking about the smile that rises up from a graveyard of buried dreams and still manages to light up a grocery store aisle. The smile you gave your grandkids when your own heart was shattering. The smile you wore to church when your bank account was screaming and your body was failing. The smile that said, "God is good," when everything around you said otherwise. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? Here's what nobody told you about those smiles, chosen one. Every single one of them was recorded, not just in someone's memory, in heaven's archives. Not one was wasted. Not one fell on deaf ears. Not one disappeared into the void like you thought it did when you went home alone and cried yourself to sleep. Let me show you something that's going to wreck you in the best way possible. Number 6:24-26 says, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace." Did you catch that? God himself smiles on his people. The creator of the universe, the ancient of days, the one who spoke galaxies into existence, he smiles. And when he does, it releases blessing, grace, and peace. Now stay with me, because this is where it gets dangerous. When you smile, really smile in the middle of your storm, you're not just being polite. You're not just keeping up appearances. You're reflecting the face of God to a world that forgot what he looks like. Your smile becomes a mirror of heaven's joy breaking into earth's darkness. And beloved, that kind of joy is a threat. Philippians 4:4 commands us, "Rejoice in the Lord always." Again I will say, rejoice. That's not a suggestion for when life is good. That's a spiritual stance. That's warfare dressed in joy. That's you telling hell, you didn't win. You didn't break me. I'm still standing and I'm still smiling. Your smile is proof that the grave you went through did not bury you, it planted you. Think about it like this. Your smile is a key card that opens spiritual doors the enemy thought he'd locked forever. It's a flashlight cutting through depression in a room full of people drowning in darkness. It's a password that angels recognize, a frequency that heaven responds to, a signal that says, "This one still believes. This one still trusts. This one is still dangerous." But let me get real honest with you for a minute, the way we do over coffee at the kitchen table when nobody else is listening. You've smiled through funerals, haven't you? You stood there watching them lower someone you loved into the ground, and you smiled at the folks who didn't know what to say to you. You've smiled through doctors' reports that should have destroyed you, through bank accounts that didn't add up, through adult children who stopped calling, through loneliness that felt like it would swallow you whole. Some of you smiled so your kids wouldn't worry. You smiled so your grandkids would remember you as strong. You smiled because somebody had to hold it together, and God knows nobody else was going to do it. Let me tell you what heaven saw. Every time you smiled when you had every right to scream, you were waging war in the spiritual realm. Every time you chose joy when grief was crushing your chest, you were dismantling demonic assignments. Every time you lifted your face toward God when life was dragging you down, you were activating protocols that hell cannot override. Your smile is not cheap, beloved. It never was. It is a weapon that cuts through lies. It is a witness that testifies to God's faithfulness when everything visible says He forgot about you. It is a warning to every force of darkness that says, you will not have the last word in this story. Do you understand what you've been carrying all these years? Do you see now why certain people can't stand to be around you? Why some folks get uncomfortable when you walk into a room radiating peace they don't possess? Why your simple presence disrupts their chouse? Because you're carrying resurrection power in a smile. You're broadcasting light in a frequency that exposes everything hiding in shadow. You're walking proof that God keeps His promises even when the waiting is long and the road is hard. That grandmother's smile you thought was nothing. That gentle nod you gave the struggling young mother in the store. That warmth you showed the nurse who was clearly having a terrible day. Every single one of them was a kingdom deployment. Every one was a prophetic act. Every one triggered something in the unseen realm that shifted atmospheres, opened hearts, and reminded heaven, this one is still mine. So the next time someone watches you with that strange look on their face, understand what's really happening. They're not just seeing an older person being nice. They're encountering someone who survived hell and came back smiling. They're face to face with living evidence that death doesn't get the final say. They're meeting a walking, breathing, smiling threat to every lie the enemy ever told them about God's goodness. And that chosen one is exactly why your smile triggered a protocol. But what protocol? What exactly happens step by step in the spiritual realm the moment you smile while they're watching? What chain reaction did you just set off without even knowing it? Because, beloved, what I'm about to show you next will change the way you walk into every room for the rest of your life. Now let me tell you what happened the moment you smiled. And I'm not talking about psychology. I'm not talking about good vibes or positive energy. I'm talking about something that operates in realms most people will never see with their natural eyes. Listen carefully. A protocol is a preset sequence of actions that automatically unfolds when a certain condition is met. Think about it. When a patient's heart stops in a hospital, code blue activates, nurses don't debate, doctors don't hesitate. The protocol kicks in. Military bases operate the same way. Security clearances trigger based on who approaches. One signal, instant response. Your smile just triggered heaven's protocol. You thought you were just being polite at the grocery store. You thought you were simply responding to a stranger's stare with kindness. But beloved, you have no idea what happened in the unseen realm the moment your face broke into that faith-filled expression. Let me walk you through it step by step, because this is where everything you've ever wondered about your life starts making sense. Step 1. Heaven logs it. Malachi 4:6 says, Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in His presence. Did you catch that? A scroll, a permanent record. Heaven writes down every time you choose faith over fear, every time you smile through pain instead of cursing through comfort. Every moment you respond with grace when the world gave you every reason to respond with rage. That smile you gave wasn't erased the second you walked away. It's documented, filed, recorded in the courts of heaven like legal evidence. And right now, there's a book with your name on it getting thicker by the day, because you keep choosing light when darkness would be easier. Step 2. Angels reposition. The moment that smile left your lips, something shifted in the atmosphere. Psalm 3:4 declares, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." Encamps. That's military language. That's strategic positioning. When you smiled instead of snapping back, when you responded with peace instead of panic, heaven said, "Protect this one. Increase the guard." You think you're walking through Walmart alone at 75 years old. You're not. There are angels re-signing themselves around your life right now because your smile proved you're still carrying the light. And light requires protection in a world addicted to darkness. Step 3. Darkness is exposed. Here's where it gets uncomfortable for the people watching you. That stranger who couldn't stop staring. If they were carrying evil intent, envy, bitterness, or spiritual darkness, your smile didn't just make them uncomfortable, it exposed them. Your smile is like spiritual fingerprint powder. It reveals what's really on their heart. They feel disarmed, enraged, confused, because light always exposes what's hiding in the shadows. John 3:20 says, "Everyone who does evil hates the light, and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed." Your presence, your peace, your smile, it's doing warfare you're not even aware of. You're not attacking anyone. You're just existing in the light. And that's enough to make darkness tremble. Step 4. Favor is scheduled. This is the part that's going to blow your mind. Your reaction didn't just stop at documentation and protection. It became a seed for future favor. That smile you gave today, it just scheduled something in your future. A promotion later, a doctor's unexpected favor, a stranger helping you when your car breaks down. Strange last-minute provision that shows up exactly when you need it. Galatians 16 promises, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." At the proper time. That means heaven's already marking dates on your calendar. Appointments you don't know about yet. Doors you haven't even approached. All because you smiled when everything in you wanted to scream. You thought you were just being polite. But in the courts of heaven, your smile triggered a protocol that hell cannot override. Let that sink in for a moment. Every demon assigned to your destruction just watched their strategy fail in real time. Every plan to break you, isolate you, or make you bitter just collapsed because you chose joy. Your smile didn't just make someone uncomfortable. It activated ancient promises. It repositioned angelic forces. It documented your faithfulness in realms where your enemies have no jurisdiction. If you're still here, this word is for you. Don't you dare click away. I want you to stay until the final prayer, because we're going to ask God to reactivate every protocol your past pain already purchased. Right now, hit that like button, type in the comments, "Protocol activated," and share this with someone who always hides behind a smile because they need to know their suffering wasn't wasted. It was weaponized. But here's what I need you to understand before we go any deeper. This protocol doesn't activate because you're perfect. It activates because you're faithful. And that distinction is about to change everything you thought you knew about why your life has been so hard. Let me tell you something they don't preach about in most Sunday morning services anymore. When I say witches, I'm not just talking about people burning candles in dark rooms or chanting over crystals. I'm talking about anyone, and I mean anyone who uses control, manipulation, curses, gossip, or dark energy to bend other people to their will. That co-worker who always knows just what to say to make you feel small. That family member who twists every conversation until you're apologizing for things you didn't do. That church person who smiles in your face but spreads poison behind your back. Those are modern-day practitioners of darkness, whether they know it or not. And your smile, your peace, your stubborn, unmovable joy after 70, 80 years of trusting God, it terrifies them. Scripture tells us plainly in Ephesians 6:2, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. You're not fighting people, beloved. You're exposing systems. You're disrupting agendas that were operating in the shadows long before you walked into the room. So let me break down exactly why your smile bothers them so much. When you smile, really smile from that deep place where God has sustained you through cancer, through bankruptcy, through the death of your spouse, through children who broke your heart, through decades of disappointment. You're making a declaration in the spirit realm. Your smile says, you didn't break me. It says, God still has me. It says, my joy doesn't belong to your opinion, your manipulation, or your agenda. Darkness feeds on fear. Your smile starves it. Think about it like this. You know those metal detectors at the airport? Those security scanners that beep when you walk through carrying something you're not supposed to have. Your presence in certain spaces works exactly the same way spiritually. You're walking around carrying holy metal, the joy of the Lord, the peace that passes understanding, the authority that comes from surviving hell and still praising God. And when you enter a room, the spiritual scanners start beeping. That's why some people get nervous around you, fidgety, hostile. They can't explain it, but something about your energy makes them uncomfortable. Their darkness recognizes your light, and light always exposes what's hiding in shadows. You've felt this, haven't you? You've been the quiet one in the family, never starting drama, never looking for trouble. But somehow, conflict always finds you. Somehow, you're always the one people whisper about, the one they blame when things go wrong, the one they accuse of changing or thinking you're better than everyone else. Let me tell you why. Your very existence exposes what others are trying to hide. Your peace reveals their chaos. Your forgiveness highlights their bitterness. Your faith throws a spotlight on their doubt. You're not the problem in the room, beloved. You're the proof that the devil doesn't own the room. Read that again. Let it sink deep into your bones. You thought you were the problem. You thought something was wrong with you. You thought if you could just be quieter, smaller, more agreeable, people would finally accept you. But that's the lie they needed you to believe. Because the moment you understand your power, the moment you realize that your smile, your presence, your refusal to be broken is a weapon against darkness, everything changes. You are not the disturbance. You are the deliverance. Now here's where some of you need to do business with God right now. You've been carrying bitterness because people treated you like the enemy when you were actually their answer. You've been dimming your light, apologizing for your joy, shrinking yourself down to make others comfortable. That ends today. Say this out loud, right where you're sitting. Lord, thank you that you vindicate me. I won't dim my light to make darkness comfortable anymore. Say it again. Mean it this time. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Don't stop smiling. Don't isolate yourself. Don't let the enemy convince you that you're too much, too intense, too different. But also hear this. Your smile is not a discount sign for people to treat you any kind of way. Your smile is a covenant sign. It's proof that you belong to the King. And covenant people set boundaries. You can love people from a distance. You can pray for people you don't let in your home. You can bless people whose energy you refuse to absorb. Boundaries aren't unbiblical, they're wisdom. Jesus himself withdrew from crowds when their energy was draining his purpose. Your smile has power. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your joy is a weapon that darkness cannot overcome. Don't waste it on people who want to steal it. But here's what most people never consider. If your smile triggers this much reaction in the natural realm, what do you think it's doing in the spiritual realm? What protocol did heaven activate the moment you stopped shrinking and started shining? What assignment just shifted because you finally smiled like someone who knows they're covered by the blood of Jesus? That's exactly what we're about to uncover next. You know what nobody talks about? The silence. The kind that lives in your house now. The kind that sits at the dinner table with you. The kind that answers when you say hello to an empty room, just to hear a voice even if it's your own. Some of you live alone now. The house is quiet, too quiet. The phone doesn't ring like it used to. Your children are busy. Your friends have passed on or moved to warmer states. The mailbox brings bills, not letters. And somewhere in that silence, you started to feel it. Invisible, like you're fading. Like the world moved on without sending you the memo. But here's the strange thing. Even though you feel invisible to people, you don't feel alone. You feel watched. And that feeling, it terrifies you sometimes. Because the last time people watched you closely, they weren't kind about it. They watched your divorce. They watched your struggling kids. They watched you lose the house, lose the job, lose the version of yourself you worked so hard to build. And their eyes, they judged, they gossiped, they whispered your name in church parking lots like it was a cautionary tale. So when you feel eyes on you now, your first instinct is fear. What did I do wrong this time? Who's talking about me now? What will they see that I'm trying to hide? Listen to me, beloved. What if I told you that the eyes you're feeling aren't the eyes you're afraid of? The Bible says in Psalm 1-21, verses 3 through 10, something that will shift everything you thought you knew about being watched. It says, "He who keeps you will not slumber. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore." Did you catch that? He who keeps you will not slumber. That means right now, at this very second, while you're watching this video in your living room or lying in bed at 2 a.m. unable to sleep, God is awake. Watching, not because He's looking for your next mistake. Not because He's keeping a tally of your failures. He's watching because He refuses to blink while you're still breathing. He refuses to look away while you're still fighting. He refuses to sleep while you're still standing. And here's where it gets even more personal. Isaiah 4:4 says, "Even to your old age and grey hairs I am He who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you." Even to your old age, even to your grey hairs, even when the world sees wrinkles and weakness, God sees the one He made, the one He's been carrying, the one He's not done with yet. God's gaze is not like human surveillance. Humans watch to find fault, to collect evidence, to build a case against you. God watches to find ways to help. Think about it like this. When a nurse watches a heart monitor in a hospital room, is she watching to criticize the patient? Is she studying those beeping lines to judge how weak their heart is? No. She's watching to catch trouble early. She's watching to protect their life. She's watching because she cares if they make it through the night. That's how heaven watches you. Not to critique, to care. Not to condemn, to cover. Not to expose, to escort. I know what some of you are thinking right now. But people have stared at me with judgment. They watched every step I took after my husband left. They watched my son get arrested. They watched me file for bankruptcy. They watched me fall apart, and their eyes, they were cold, cruel, disgusting. Yes, they did, and you're right to remember that pain. But here's what you need to understand, chosen one. God watched too. He saw every moment. But while they watched with gossip on their tongues, God watched with tears in His eyes and plans in His hands. While they whispered your name in shame, God spoke your name in strategy sessions with angels. While they wrote you off, God was writing your comeback. You were never being watched to be embarrassed. You were being watched to be escorted into destiny. Do you hear me? Every moment you thought you were alone, abandoned, forgotten, you were being monitored by a God who doesn't lose track of his chosen ones. Every tear that fell when no one was looking, he collected it. Every prayer you whispered that seemed to hit the ceiling and bounce back, he recorded it. Every night you survived when giving up felt easier, he celebrated it. The eyes on you right now aren't the eyes of judgment. They're the eyes of a father who's been watching his child struggle for too long and is finally saying, enough. It's time to bring them home to purpose. It's time to activate the protocol I've had waiting since before they were born. I want you to do something right now. Close your eyes, just for a moment. I know it feels vulnerable. I know it feels risky, but close them. And I want you to imagine God's face. Not the angry, distant God religion might have taught you about. The real one. The one who knows how your knees ache in the morning. The one who hears you talk to your deceased spouse's picture. The one who sees you eat dinner alone and wishes he could sit across from you in human form just to keep you company. Now imagine him smiling. Not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you're still here, still fighting, still believing. Still watching videos about faith when you could given up years ago. Imagine him smiling at you the same way you smiled at that stranger in the grocery store. A real smile, one that says, I see you, and I'm not going anywhere. That's the protocol your smile triggered, not fear. Recognition, not surveillance. Love. If this is bringing you some peace right now, if something inside you just exhaled for the first time in years, I want you to write in the comments, God, thank you for watching over me, not watching against me. That's your declaration. That's your agreement with heaven. That's you finally understanding that you've never been as alone as you felt. But now we need to go deeper. Because if God's been watching you with love this whole time, if he's been escorting you towards something instead of just observing you struggle, then what exactly has he been protecting you from? And why did your smile just activate the next phase? Now listen to me carefully, because this is where most believers miss it completely. They hear about spiritual power, they feel the stirring in their chest. They get excited about their divine assignment, and then tomorrow morning comes. The alarm goes off. Their joints ache. The bills are still on the counter. And that fire they felt, it fizzles into the same old routine. Not this time. Not with you. Because what good is knowing you carry a kingdom protocol if you never activate it? What good is understanding your smile triggers something in the spirit realm if you walk around with your head down, your light dimmed? Your presence apologizing for taking up space. Here's the raw truth nobody wants to say out loud. The enemy doesn't fear what you know. He fears what you do with what you know. And right now he's banking on you forgetting this message by breakfast tomorrow. He's counting on you going back to invisible, back to silent, back to that version of yourself that never made hell nervous. Are you going to let him win? Tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before you check the news, before you start worrying about your doctor's appointment or your grandkids who won't call, I need you to do something that will sound simple, but will shake the foundations of darkness. Put your hand over your heart. Feel it beating. That rhythm is a gift. And then say these words out loud. Lord, shine through my face today. Let my smile preach louder than my mouth. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you're declaring war with grace as your weapon. Then go to your bathroom mirror. Look at yourself. Not the critical look where you notice every wrinkle and gray hair. Look at yourself the way heaven sees you. Battle-tested, still standing, still carrying light after everything you've survived. And smile. A real one. Not for Instagram, not for show. For you, God. For the protocol. That's not vanity, beloved. That's spiritual training. You're rehearsing the expression that makes demons flinch. Now here's where it gets tactical. You're going to walk through your day, and at some point, maybe at the grocery store, maybe at church, maybe in your own living room when your daughter-in-law gives you that look, you're going to feel it again, eyes watching, measuring, judging. That old familiar weight pressing down on your shoulders, whispering, shrink, disappear, don't cause problems. And this is your moment of choice. Instead of shrinking, instead of dropping your gaze, instead of making yourself smaller so they feel bigger, pause. Take one breath and whisper under your breath where only God can hear, Lord, let my smile trigger heaven's protocol again. Then smile, not fake, not forced. Rooted in the truth that the Creator of the universe lives inside you and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 5:4. That's not a suggestion. That's a guarantee stamped in the blood of Jesus. You want something practical to hold onto when the atmosphere gets thick. Here's your arsenal. Memorize this. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 271. 6 seconds to say it. 60 years of power behind it. When you feel that prickle on your neck, when you sense the watchers circling, whisper it. The Lord is my light. Whom shall I fear? Let those words become your breath prayer. Jesus be my shield and my shine. Now let me tell you something about wisdom that comes with age. Your smile is public, but your secrets are not. You don't owe everybody your story. You don't have to explain yourself to people who are studying you like a science project. Smile with grace, but guard your pearls. That's kingdom intelligence. That's Matthew 6 in action. Don't throw your sacred things to people who'll trample them. And here's what I need you to hear, especially if you're sitting alone right now thinking nobody cares if you show up or not. Stay connected. Call someone from church. Take a short walk around your block, even if it's just to the mailbox and back. Greet your neighbor. Carry that protocol smile into the world even when the world feels heavy. Because every time you step outside your door carrying the presence of God, you're not just running errands. You're on assignment. You're moving through enemy territory as an ambassador of light. And your smile, that simple, genuine, faith-filled smile, is broadcasting a frequency that the kingdom of darkness cannot jam. If this is something you're willing to practice this week, don't just nod your head. Say it out loud right now, even if you're alone. I agree. There's power in your agreement. There's authority in your voice. Heaven is listening, and so is hell. Let them both hear you choose to walk in this protocol starting tomorrow morning. Because here's what's about to happen when you activate this daily. When you make this your lifestyle instead of just a nice idea you heard once on YouTube, everything shifts. The watchers will notice something different. Your family will sense something changed. You'll walk into rooms and the atmosphere will bend to the presence you're carrying. But the question burning in your spirit right now is this. What happens when the protocol you're walking in starts triggering reactions you weren't prepared for? Beloved, we've walked a long road together tonight. And now we're standing at the place where everything comes together. Where every question finds its answer. Where every tear you've ever cried in secret gets counted, catalogued, and converted into currency in the courts of heaven. Let me say it one more time, slowly, so it sinks into the deepest chamber of your heart. You weren't supposed to notice them watching, but you did. And when you smiled, when you lifted that weathered, worn, beautiful face that's been through 70, 80, 90 years of fire, you didn't just hide your pain. You didn't just survive another day. You triggered a protocol in heaven. Let that settle on you for a moment. Heaven logged it. Angels moved. Assignments shifted. Darkness flinched and scrambled to recalculate. Future favor was scheduled into your bloodline before you even walked out of that grocery store, before you left that doctor's office, before you stepped out of that church lobby. You thought you were just being polite. God saw it as warfare. You thought you were just getting through the day. Heaven recorded it as a prophetic act. You thought nobody noticed. But the courts of eternity were watching, and they logged every single smile you gave when your heart was breaking. Every kind word you spoke when betrayal was fresh. Every time you showed up and chose light when darkness was easier. Here's the revelation that's going to wreck you in the best way possible. You thought you were just surviving. But God is showing me right now, you were secretly cooperating with divine protocols that are going to bless your children, your grandchildren, and people you will never meet on this side of eternity. Your smile isn't just a facial expression. It's part of your spiritual inheritance package. It's a weapon you didn't know you were carrying. It's a witness you didn't know you were giving. And it's a prophecy you didn't know you were speaking. Proverbs 10:22 says, "A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children." You think that's just about money. No, beloved. That inheritance is your faith under fire, your joy in the valley, your smile in the storm. That's what gets passed down. That's what breaks generational curses. That's what rewrites family stories. Now listen to me closely, because I'm about to pray over you with authority that comes straight from the throne room. Father, I lift up every person hearing my voice right now. Every line on their face, every wrinkle carved by years of laughter and tears. Every gray hair that testifies to decades of trusting you when nothing made sense. I speak dignity over it. I speak honor over it. I call it beautiful in your sight. Let their face preach hope to the next generation without them saying a single word. Lord, touch their eyes right now. The eyes that have seen too much pain, too much loss, too much betrayal. Let them see they are not alone. Let them see the cloud of witnesses cheering them on. Let them see that every tear they cried was collected in your bottle according to Psalm 50. Not one was wasted. Not one was forgotten. And Father, I bless their smile, that smile the enemy tried to steal, that smile that scared hell and activated heaven. I declare it is a weapon and a witness. Let it disarm darkness. Let it prophesy life. Let it trigger protocols in the spirit realm that open doors no man can shut. According to Isaiah 54:18, no weapon formed against them shall prosper, and I declare their smile is proof that every weapon failed. Now, beloved, if you're still with me, I need to ask you something that might be the most important question you've ever answered. Have you ever fully given your life to Jesus? Not just church attendance, not just religious routine, but actual surrender, because the same God who's been watching over you, tracking your smiles, counting your tears, honoring your faithfulness, he wants to live inside you, not just near you, in you. Romans 10:10 says, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. If tonight is your night, if something in your spirit is saying, yes, don't wait another second. Talk to him right now. Tell him you're ready. Tell him you're tired of carrying it alone. He's been waiting for this moment longer than you have. And for those of you who've been walking with him but you've drifted, come back. Come home. The Father is running toward you with open arms like the prodigal's father in Luke 10:5. Your room in his house has been waiting. Your seat at his table has your name on it. Now here's what I need you to do. Don't walk this out alone. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected with a community that understands what you carry. Share this message with just one person, just one, who always hides behind their smile. Send it to them and say, heaven has a protocol for you too. Right now in the comments, I want you to type these words. I will not hide my light. Say it like you mean it. Declare it over your life. And if you have a story, a time when a smile changed your day, when someone's face gave you hope, when you knew God was speaking through a stranger's kindness, share it. Let this community surround you. Let your testimony become someone else's breakthrough. One last thing before I release you. Next time you feel them watching, Whether it's people in the room or forces in the unseen realm, don't shrink. Don't apologize for taking up space. Don't dim the light that's taken you a lifetime to carry. Just smile. Heaven knows exactly what to do with that.